Hey, what's going on guys, it's Vid Shadow here, and today I'm bringing you a tutorial video for my HD settings for my YouTube videos. Figured that this will hopefully be some help to you guys who want to get some good HD quality videos on YouTube, and these settings that I use I found to be really good in almost every area. You know, they give out great quality and the file sizes aren't too massive that it takes like 4 years to upload. So this is for Hauppauge HD PVR's owners, by the way, not any other capture cards, so I'm sorry, but I mean, you can use these settings if you want, but this is mainly directed at the Hauppauge HD PVR owners. So as you can see, this is your Hauppauge HD PVR capture module that you get. See, there's my Xbox there, and these are the settings you want for this whole Shazam, basically. You want to make sure it's on PlayStation 3. Don't worry if you're recording an Xbox 360, just make sure it's on PlayStation 3. It gives out the best format. These are the settings up here for the video, audio. You won't have to worry about this too much. It should, if you've got the cables connected properly, which hopefully you should have done because that's the easy part, this will all set itself. The device settings really don't matter. These pretty much look the standard default like that. They look pretty good. They don't really make any difference at all. And video decoder sets it up by itself usually. Just make sure that VCR input and output are enabled. Video standard should be set up properly by itself, but those are the settings for them. They don't change too much. Format settings are where it gets a little bit more into it. As you can see, you can only record in 720p or 1080i for HD settings on the Hauppauge HD PVR. It doesn't record in 1080p. I think the only capture card that does that is the Blackmagic Intensity Pro. But you know, if you want to record in 1080i, then the Hauppauge HD PVR will do it kindly. Okay, as you can see, these are the standard settings for it. These are the default settings. This is what it will look like when you get it. You want to make sure that the bit rate is all the way up to the top. Now, yes, your file sizes are going to be huge, but they are not the ones that you're going to be uploading to YouTube. You will run those files through a video editing program that will compress the files into a much smaller file size, and those are the ones you're going to be uploading to YouTube. Make sure the constant bit rate is selected here. This is pretty much standard, and make sure your Luma and Chroma are both set to 3. And the audio encoders, I prefer to use AC3. I think AAC makes the file size a little bit too big, but AC3 is the best one for there. You just want to apply that and go OK, and it should refresh it all up. Yep, there you go. If you've got your Xbox 360 showing on here, then you're away. You know, there's no problems at all. If not, just make sure your settings are all correct and make sure that your wires and cables are all plugged in properly on what zone, and hopefully that will solve your problem. So when you get to here, you want to make sure that everything down here is selected. Make sure you have hardware acceleration on and enable preview and recording unticked. First it will be ticked, you want it unticked. The Hauppauge will have to do less work when capturing a video then, and it will usually lead to smoother and better quality captures. So what you want to do here, if you want to just test these settings out, the thing I do is I record like a 30-second video of me just like flicking through the dashboard, you know, bringing up the friends list, you know, record a 30-second video, and then you're done. And once you close that down, you want to open your video editing program. So I am using Cyberlink PowerDirector and Sony Vegas in this one. You can use either one. I use Cyberlink PowerDirector, but this video will also show you settings for Sony Vegas if you use Sony Vegas. So the first thing you want to do when you have PowerDirector open, you need to set up the aspect ratio to 16:9. That will give it the full widescreen. Basically, it will do full screen perfectly. And you want to make sure that go to preferences. Make sure that the TV format is set to NTSC. And make sure that enable HD video processing is enabled, and the rest of it you don't really have to change anything at all. You know, it's pretty much always set up bog standard, so you know you won't have to do much work to this. You can fiddle around with the editing if you want a little bit more. You know, there's more settings to this that allow you to be a little bit more advanced. You know, check say where you want the files to go to. I've got a personal folder called YouTube where all the files end up going. You can also make it this one, so once you've made the files, you can set it to go to ones that you've made. So they are. Now any file that I make will go straight to my YouTube folder. Hardware acceleration, I don't use either of them, but if you have a monster powerful PC that accepts these hardware acceleration, by all means use them. Project doesn't change, and neither does Produce really. So there you go, that's the settings. Now to get your 30-second clip that you captured, find it. It will be basically where you chose to save it. So there's the clip that I chose. What you can do is when you open it, basically, and it'll appear in here. And what you can do, this is for like any people who do montage makers or like to cut up clips. You can go detect scenes, and it will detect the scenes for you. All you have to do is go down here and hit detect, and it will detect all the scenes for you. So this is a really good way to make like montages and stuff and cut up clips if you don't want certain things in your video. You just detect the scenes, and well, there you go, here's every scene from the video. So you just click and drag that and drop it into the timeline down here. I'll just quickly go back to Total Media Extreme and show you what I meant by finding the file. Because as you can see down here, this is where you save it to. So I made a file in my documents under YouTube, and every file that I capture goes into that folder. So you want to like customize that, click on the browse folder here and customize your own folder and everything, just so you know where the captures go. Okay. So if we go back to PowerDirector, so this is it. This is your video in here. So say you've got it all set up and say you've got it working or whatever, and you just want to produce it now. You go to produce. Now this is the file system that I use. It's called H.264AVC. It's a really, really good file system. You can get some extremely good quality videos out of it, and the file sizes aren't too big either. So you want to make a custom file. You want to hit on the plus on here. I want it to do that. Allow you to make a custom one, and it will come on the custom. See, I've already got one called YouTube. This is to edit them, but this is what I typed in. So when you go plus, it'll ask you for a profile name and description. You put all you want. Then for video, if you want it to be 1080p on YouTube, if you want that option to be selectable, you have to choose one of the ones with 1080 on the end. If you just want it to be a 720p video, you just select the 720 option. Obviously, if you do 720, it's going to be a smaller file size than 1080, but people like 1080p videos, so I choose it. You want the frame rate to be 59.94. because that's what the Hauppauge captures in. You want the frame type to be progressive, the profile type to be high, the entropic coding you leave as KBAC, and the average bit rate you can drop this down to 6, because that's pretty much the max that YouTube uses. So, and you want to make sure the quality is up to full, and use deblocking. For audio, I choose Dolby Digital, stereo, and 384. So those are the settings I use for Cyberlink PowerDirector. And as you can see, look, it drops down to a 22.5 megabyte file from like a 34 megabyte file, so you make quite a bit of saving on it. Obviously, where I customized it earlier, that's where my video is going to go to. That's what's going to be called right there, produce. But as you can see, customize your own, make your own folder, and make sure you select that one for the outputs. You leave this all as it is, apart from enable preview during production. You want to untick that, because sometimes if you leave that ticked, it will cause jerkiness in the video, and the video won't be as smooth. So untick that to get a full, completely smooth video. So that is for PowerDirector. So I will just close that down, and I'll show you the settings for Vegas. Now Vegas is a little bit trickier, a bit more of an advanced program. But what you want to do is when you first set Vegas up, you need to set your properties. It should ask you to do this. So these are the properties. Obviously they have to match your Hauppauge HD PVR. So if you captured in 1080, there you go, 1080, 60. Actually, it'll be that one down there. The one if you captured in 1080i. obviously because I captured in 720p at 59 or 60 frames per second, you know. So you make sure you can, this is just a template anyway, but you can select that one just to save filling all of this in, but if you want to fill it in you can anyway. So these are all my stats for it. Make sure it's progressive scan, pixel aspect ratio at 1, see frame rate, double NTSC, stereoscopic 3D, don't even bother with, pixel format 8 bits, full resolution rendering quality best, Gaussian blur, deinterlacement mode you want none. Again, you can customize where you want the rendered files to go to. You can click to like start all new projects to have these, which is a good idea. You can apply these settings when you're done with it. Same with the audio. Select the highest one for audio, stereo, bit depth 16, basically again. And the rest of it doesn't really matter. So once you've done all that, you can simply just apply it and go OK. And again, you want to go find your video file, so there it is again. And it will pop right into Vegas's timeline. As you can see, it's all there, all good. Okay, now for Vegas, you can't just simply go to a button and hit produce. You have to actually select the video. So select the end and then drag from the video. Just drag over the video. That's all you got to do. You know, go to the end, and then you want to go up to File, File, and Render As. Now, as you can see, I've already got one here under template called YouTube. So again, it's just all about custom. So you select the file type as WMV V11. See, it's all these file types here you get to choose from. So you select this one down here, and then you'll have a template that you can select from. But again, you choose custom, and you have custom settings for it. So these are the settings you want here: constant bitrate, Windows audio, you know, the best audio quality, what you want to video. These are the video settings. These are the important ones, obviously. Again, the image size for 1080i, you need 1080. For 720p, 720. If you need a massive video, you can customize it. Pixel aspect ratio again. Like I said, video smoothness will be on 90 at the start, so you want to whack that up to 100. And most of it just does it itself. Bitrate, you want to select internet/LAN and whack it at 6 megabits, I believe. Index summary doesn't really do anything. Project video rendering quality best, and that will be it. And then you just want to save that, and that will save all these settings. Go OK. Call the video whatever you want to call it, and then hit save, and it will render the video. And that is pretty much it, guys. These are my render settings for my HD videos that I put on YouTube. My Cyberlink PowerDirector 9 HD render settings and Sony Vegas 9 HD rendering settings. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I hope you can get some nice crisp quality HD videos on YouTube soon. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in another video. See you later.